Hey everyone, I am just going to read the Alcoholics Anonymous, the doctor's opinion, but it's in the um, plain text book. So here's the doctor's opinion, and then like a brief. The doctor's opinion. The members of Alcoholics Anonymous believe that anyone who reads this book will want to know the opinions of medical doctors. We say that our program works, but what do physicians think? Is there any proof of what AA claims? We understand this. You may want this information before you commit to getting sober and decide to join the program. You may want evidence that it works from someone outside our organization. It helps to hear from doctors and other trusted professionals who understand alcoholism and how it affects our health. And then in the black text, like the bold text, it has, I'll just say that it's a definition: sober/sobriety. The dictionary definition of these words focuses on one thing: not using mood-altering chemicals such as alcohol or narcotics. The founders of AA understood this too and responded by getting input from a well-known expert. The big book includes several letters from Dr. William D. Silkworth, who is mentioned in the foreword. Dr. Silkworth ran the Charles B. Towns Hospital for Alcoholism and Drug Addiction in New York City during the 1930s. One of his patients there was Bill W., one of the co-founders of AA, whose story you will read in Chapter 1. And then here's some bold text. In AA, we think about sobriety a little differently. First, in AA, we focus only on alcohol. Second, our definition includes not drinking or staying dry. But it also includes changing our outlook so we can lead better, healthier, and more peaceful lives. Okay, we're back to regular. When AA was getting started, some alcoholics felt unsure about joining. They also wanted some sort of proof that the program could help them. So the co-founders asked for Dr. Silkworth's help. He wrote a letter saying that he'd seen the program work for many alcoholics. The co-founders knew they could show this convincing letter to anyone who had doubts. It could help them feel more comfortable about the program. It could help them feel more confident that it would be a positive force in their lives. Below you can read a plain text explanation of Dr. Silkworth's first letter. It is shown side by side with the original version that he sent to AA in the 1930s. Okay, here's the plain language explanation. I'm a doctor who has worked with alcoholics for many years. In 1934, I had a patient who struggled to get sober. He was a businessman who made lots of money, so he seemed stable and successful in some important ways. He just could not stop himself from drinking. I had worked with alcoholics like him before and sometimes felt they could not be helped. This man came to my hospital 3 separate times trying to get sober. The third time I worked with him, he told me about an idea he had. I agreed to let him try it. He wanted to tell a story to other alcoholics at the hospital. He wanted to explain to them why he drank and how he felt. He did this, and then he asked the other patients to do the same thing. Many of them agreed to try it. They shared their stories with each other and continued to do so for many months. Now my businessman patient is sober. More than 100 other people have joined his community of recovering alcoholics, and they have all stayed sober just by helping each other. They have changed their lives. I have worked with many patients who tried multiple methods to stop drinking, but nothing helped them. My patient's method seemed to work even for alcoholics who have struggled for a long time to get sober. Because of this, I believe he may be able to help save thousands of lives. If you're reading this letter because you're not sure this program can help you, I hope I have convinced you. You can trust this program and all the people who have joined it. This letter is signed, Very truly yours, William D. Silkworth, MD. Let's skip ahead. Okay, before the first book was published, AA's co-founders asked Dr. Silkworth to write more about his thoughts on the program. He said yes, and a second letter was printed below. In the second letter, he says he believes that both the bodies and the minds of alcoholics are affected by alcoholism. This is something that many alcoholics already believe to be true. It was a huge relief to hear an expert agree. AA members and other people who struggle with drinking are often told we are unstable. We are told we are running away from our real lives. For some of us, those things are definitely true, but we felt certain that our struggles weren't just mental but also physical. Alcoholism wasn't just in our heads and hearts, it was in our bodies too. We are grateful for Dr. Silkworth for confirming this in his letter. Here's another definition. Chronic. A problem or condition that lasts for a very long time, is difficult to change, and may come back after going away temporarily. A chronic alcoholic is someone who has been drinking for a long time. They may have stopped drinking for a little while, but they cannot stop permanently. And we're back to the regular. An AA program helps alcoholics work through their problems with beliefs and spirituality. We do believe anyone whose mind is still foggy from alcohol should consider spending time in the hospital before joining AA. Being clear-headed helps alcoholics understand and accept what we are teaching. Here is Dr. Silkworth's second letter. Again, you will find a plain language explanation to... The ideas in this book are extremely important to anyone who struggles with alcoholism. I believe this because I spent many years working with alcoholics. I work as the director of one of the oldest hospitals in the country. I help people recover from their alcoholism and drug addiction. When I was asked to write my opinion in this book, I was very happy to do it. I believe this book explains ideas that may help people who struggle to stop drinking. For a long time, doctors like me have believed that our patients needed more than just science and medicine to get sober. They needed some sort of mental or emotional system. They needed a way to understand themselves, forgive themselves, and rebuild their lives. Medical doctors like me knew this, but we didn't know how to create a system that would work. Then someone came along who knew how to do it. He knew exactly how to offer the kind of help that hospitals and doctors could not. Many years ago, one of the authors of this book came to the hospital where I work. He was trying to get sober himself and had a new idea about how to do it. He believed his idea could help other alcoholics too. Later on, he asked my permission to tell a story to the other patients at my hospital. I wasn't sure how it would help anyone, but I let him try it. Since then, I've studied the cases of some of the people he met. The stories of these people are very interesting. Many of them are amazing. They are completely unselfish and work very hard to help each other defeat their alcoholism. It is inspiring me since I have worked long and hard in the field of alcoholism. After struggling for so long, they finally believe in themselves and the community they have built. They also believe in a higher power that can save them from more suffering or maybe even death. We still believe that many alcoholics need to deal with their physical cravings for liquor before they can use a program like this. Here's why. We believe that alcohol affects chronic alcoholics differently from how it affects normal drinkers. It interacts with their bodies like an allergy. It forces them to behave in unpredictable ways. Regular drinkers never get the strong cravings that chronic alcoholics get. People with this alcohol allergy have cravings all the time. These cravings can feel impossible to control. This means that chronic alcoholics cannot safely drink alcohol of any kind. It means that they can never drink. Once they know how it feels to drink and get drunk, they will form a drinking habit quickly and find it impossible to stop. They will lose self confidence and ruin their relationships. They will watch their problems pile up and feel totally unable to solve them. Begging these people to stop drinking never helps. The only message they are willing to hear must be logical and powerful. They also need to find a way to believe in a power greater than themselves. Doing this will help them rebuild their lives. If anyone reading this feels that I am being overly emotional, let me explain. I am a psychiatrist who runs a hospital for alcoholics. I have seen the intense and life-destroying tragedies that alcoholism creates. These include desperate spouses and partners, scared little children, families torn apart. Every day I work to try to help alcoholics leave drinking behind them. It is work that I do all year round the clock without tiring. And in all my years of work, I haven't found anything helpful as helpful as AA. No other tool, program, or idea has ever helped more struggling alcoholics find their way to sobriety. People drink because they like how drinking alcohol makes them feel. Alcoholics enjoy that feeling so much that they begin to need it more and more often. At first, they may understand that their drinking is harmful, but over time, they begin to ignore that knowledge. Eventually, their alcoholic life seems completely normal. Being drunk becomes more important than anything else. Alcoholics are anxious and frustrated unless they feel the comfort they get from drinking. Once they have a drinking habit and the cravings for alcohol begin, they get stuck in a cycle. They will go on a drinking spree, then feel terrible about what they've done, and then swear they'll never drink again. But they do drink again, and the cycle keeps repeating. These alcoholics feel alone, overwhelmed, and unsure how to make permanent change in their lives. Recovery feels impossible to them unless they're able to completely change their way of thinking and being something. Sorry, let's read that again. Recovery feels impossible to them unless they are able to completely change their way of thinking and being, sometimes called a psychic change. This means that their personality and behavior have become completely transformed. When some alcoholics exchange their psychic change, they are able to make a huge healthy change in their thought patterns about drinking. After that, recovery suddenly feels possible. The same people who felt doomed and overwhelmed by their problems experience hope, just by following a few simple rules from AA. They can control their need for alcohol and change their behaviors. Many alcoholics feel deep confusion and powerlessness. This leads them to ask for help from their medical doctors. I've had many patients come to me and say, "Doctor, I can't go on like this. I'm ruining my life. I want to stop drinking, but I can't. Please help me." When this happens, most doctors struggle to be truly helpful. We are eager to support and heal our alcoholic patients, but we don't have the right kind of knowledge. Medical doctors know all about the physical pain and sickness, but becoming sober seems to take something much deeper. Many times our alcoholic patients need a type of wisdom and healing that we just can't give to them. They need something to help them make that psychic change. Something that another human may not be able to give to them. Some psychologists have helped their patients get sober, but not all alcoholics can heal themselves this way. I believe this is because psychology focuses on the mind and emotions, and alcoholism is a disease that affects the mind and body. As a medical doctor, I've worked with alcoholics who have shown me exactly how hard it is to control their physical cravings for alcohol. For example, I've seen patients work for months to achieve a specific goal in their lives. If they take one drink a few days before reaching their goal, they can't stop themselves from getting drunk. Then they can't reach their goal they've worked so hard to achieve. They feel awful about that, but they cannot stop their cravings. They cannot resist from getting drunk, even if getting drunk destroys their own hard work. I don't believe that these people were drinking to escape anything. I believe they were drinking because they could not control their cravings for alcohol. For some of them, fighting against their own cravings became so hard and exhausting that they ended their lives instead of continuing to fight. There are many types of alcoholics in the world. There are alcoholics who constantly promise to get sober but never do it. There are alcoholics who refuse to admit that drinking is bad for them. There are alcoholics who think that taking a break from drinking for a little while makes it safe to start drinking later. There are alcoholics who seem normal and friendly until they drink and then they turn into completely different people. There are alcoholics who cannot control their emotions or struggle with mental illness on top of their problems with drinking. This book will discuss many types of alcoholics. Here's what all of these types of alcoholics have in common. If they start drinking, their cravings will become so strong that they will not be able to stop. Just one drink will trigger the strong and unstoppable reaction. As I mentioned earlier, I believe this makes alcoholism a type of allergy to alcohol. Like other allergies, alcoholism can't be permanently stopped or removed from the sufferer's body. The only way to deal with this is to stop drinking and never drink again. Since never drinking again is extremely hard for chronic alcoholics, many medical doctors believe they cannot do it. They believe these people will always struggle and never get permanent relief. If abstinence or never drinking again isn't the solution to alcoholism, what is? I'll answer that question by sharing a story from my own medical practice. I once worked with a patient who was struggling with chronic alcoholism. He had already healed from major health problems caused by his drinking. He still struggled to control his thoughts and feelings. His drinking had destroyed everything good in his life and ruined his most important relationships. He was just living to drink. Oh, I lost my spot. When he came to see me, he told me that he had lost all hope that he could overcome his alcoholism and get sober. While at the hospital working with me, this man stopped drinking and got all the alcohol out of his system. We found that he had no permanent brain damage. He began following the AA program described in this book. 1 year later, he came to see me and I couldn't even recognize him. He looked and acted completely different from the hopeless, sick, nervous man I had seen just a year before. He was confident, happy, and putting his life together. A long time has passed since I saw him, and he has stayed sober that whole time. Whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed or sad, I think about another patient I worked with. He knew that he was a chronic alcoholic and believed he would never recover. He decided to hide in an empty barn and allow himself to die. He was rescued by a search party before that happened, and he came to my hospital very sick and weak. Once he was physically recovered, we had a talk. Oh my gosh. He told me he believed any sort of treatment for his alcoholism would be a waste of time. He said he needed the willpower to resist drinking forever and didn't know how to get it. His alcoholism was strong and complicated, and he was also struggling with serious depression. Because of this, I believe the only way he became sober was through what we used to call moral psychology. He needed something that combined ideas about morals and beliefs with psychology, but I worried that would not work either. However, this man adopted the practices described in this book, and he has not taken a drink in many years. I see him sometimes, and he's happy and healthy as anyone I've ever known. I would strongly recommend this book to every alcoholic. If you begin reading with doubts in your mind, my hope is that you will continue reading and find your way to understand the nature of your problem. William D. Silkworth, MD. And then we're back to the regular part. As you continue reading through this book yourself, and as you learn more about AA's beliefs and practices, we hope that you will also find your way to acceptance of your problem. And a definition of craving: an irresistible urge to drink, obsessive thoughts about alcohol that compel the drinker to start drinking and keep drinking.